If I had a video platform, my videos would just be audio videos. There would be no imagery, just audio.
Smart. Good business plan.
In the future, people...
It's YouTube, but get this. There's no video component. It's blind tube.
So it's Spotify. No. That's not what I'm saying at all.
No, it would just literally be YouTube, all the same shit that's on YouTube, except there's no images, just audio.
It's like watching a movie in the digital age. You know, you don't actually watch the movie. You listen to the movie while you play Tetris on your phone.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe. It is Friday, December 18th, 2020. It is 11:59 a.m. Just about to cross into p.m. Nice. And what are we doing today? Well,
I'm going to tell you the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes. Have you met this carpenter man?
He has risen.
No, instead of that, we're gonna do a run through some more current topical headlines.
Recent news,
except like the first story I want to start with is actually like a month old now. Almost.
Not too long ago. News from a month ago is considered recent to some people.
Fair enough.
Now news has to be what does count as recent? 5 seconds?
Yeah.
1 second?
It's
after a minute, it's old.
It's a whole new world.
It's a brave new world.
Oh, but before we jump into that headline I just referred to, we should do a quick state of the coronavirus, I feel. So some of the most recent news is very grim and dark. In Germany, a country of 80-some million people, I think 83, they've now reached nearly 1,000 daily COVID deaths, which kind of goes against the narrative of like, everywhere in the world is handling this better than the U.S. And I mean, technically, as bad as this is in Germany, it is like
they are handling it better.
In pure numbers, it's better than what's going on in the U.S. But it's still pretty horrible. They've basically refused to shut things down. They've kept schools open, and now like they're reacting to this what they're calling a hard lockdown. But the hard lockdown is even just like kind of minimal. Like they're still keeping schools open, but what they've done is they're not punishing people for not going to school. And they're also, let's see, part of the policy is that the ruling class in Germany is once again putting the profit interests of the financial oligarchy above social need. So basically, the rich are not contributing to like helping fight the virus at all, which is, the same thing happening all over the world. And a lot of this is happening in France and Italy and so on as well. The same kind of forcing places to just stay open and just, throwing people to their deaths, basically, knowingly. And it sucks. It really sucks, to put it very lightly. And of course, things are as bad as they've ever been in the United States. And we'd be remiss not to mention that things are as bad as they've ever been in Korea right now. But that is so relatively, like, it's so much better here than in the countries I just mentioned. So like the headline in Germany is 1,000 deaths a day. Well, in Korea, we've hit about 1,000 infections a day, which is the highest it's ever been. And things are locked down fairly hard, except the government's refusing to go to the most serious lockdown level, even though they should.
There's a lot of pushback against it.
Yeah, because they would have to just hand out money if they wanted to, like, the economy not to crash. And they and the corporations that run the government basically are not interested in that, just like in other countries. But the numbers are much less scary here, relatively. So,
have countries been handing out money to people?
Some countries, like, I think in
No, I know they have.
But like we get the impression. I mean, they are actually. I think they're doing it. Well, I don't know. So, like, the policies in, say, Germany and France are to, like, give people aid in these kind of crises, but they're just not. They're not shutting down industry, which means they don't have to give anybody money. So, in a way, they're being almost as bad as in the U.S. But there are still just, like, even non-emergency social safety net programs in those countries that the U.S. doesn't have at all. So I think, like, while people are dying and suffering because they're just still going to work, like, I think a lot of people are also able to get some kind of government funding to, not go completely broke, and they're not having the same crisis as, December 31st, like, there's something like 19 million people are going to be evicted in the U.S. because they're going to drop the eviction ban.
Yeah, I saw that. This is a bit just more focused, but Tennessee. I'd have to look up the exact number, but I know, like, yesterday they broke their record for the most people to ever apply for unemployment in one day in Tennessee. It's notoriously hard to apply for unemployment in Tennessee. I've tried before back when I lived in Tennessee and thought that I was eligible for unemployment because of the way the red states work and certain worker rights. They figured out a way not to give it to me, which I imagine is what happened to those 30,000 plus people yesterday in Tennessee who I feel bad for. So it goes.
So things aren't going well in the state of COVID, but we should probably move on because it's easy to get bogged down in this thing, and we talk about it a lot. So, as if the next subject is so sunny. Andrew Cuomo, or
Camus,
as Jason likes to call him, Andrew Camus. The Algerian French philosopher. Cuomo. No, this is the not totally topical, but it's still something I wanted to bring up. How he got an Emmy for, well, as this article says, literally just showing up. He got an Emmy award. It was some sort of special Emmy award that they, like, invented for him, probably, or I don't know. I forget exactly what it was called, but. Yeah, for his, like, TV appearances throughout the pandemic. And it's just such a fucking weird slap in the face. It's such a strange thing because he's did such a horrible job, and it continues to do such a horrible job with dealing with the pandemic. Yet he's written a whole book about how he's an amazing hero, the way he dealt with it.
He is.
He's a piece of shit. And I mean, there's many examples you could get into if we wanted to do a deep dive, which we don't exactly. But like, so one of the most famous things he fucked up early on was sending people with COVID into nursing homes, which is like where the most vulnerable, immunocompromised, most likely to die people live. That's extremely fucked up. And there's an article I found that goes into that specifically, and how he left that whole part of his dealing with COVID out of his book about how he's a hero.
You don't want to bring up your mistakes in your book showing you're a hero.
Well, yeah, I guess not, but it's just
I mean, they don't make comic books about Superman's mistakes. They do make comic books about Superman's mistakes, because that's the only way to make him interesting as a character, is you show that even someone with godlike powers can fuck up. Anyway, whole nother note. I am saying that Andrew Camus is a Superman.
Well, he would maybe fight you on that, because he's also like he's a really belligerent asshole, like kind of tying in with what we talked about in the last episode, like how Biden is this bullying guy and always has been. This is how Cuomo is as well, and yet he was being lauded for his like he's so calm and sane compared to Trump when he comes out to talk to the public. But like there's so many so much footage I've seen of him just like berating journalists and like passing the blame onto individuals and stuff. Like it's absurd.
Look, just want to point this out. Bullies only have a few options in life: politics, policing, management.
What else?
Like I said, they only have a few options in life.
Be a Twitter warrior.
I suppose that's also a place for bullies to go.
Well, that being said, it doesn't make them good people. And it was so funny. People were like literally calling for him to run for president.
I remember.
It was so ridiculous. Oh, and the other news most recent news about him is he's being like Me Too'd right now. I have no idea what the claims are or anything, so I don't really want to get into that. But
it reminds me of Time Magazine's Hero of the Year, or Guardian of the Year, Dr. Fauci,
Fauci, man.
Falkenstein, Dr. Falkenstein, Fauci. That's it. I mean, he sucks. I'll leave it at that. I mean, he told people not to wear a mask, and that bothers me often.
And now there's this picture of him looking all like serene and and casual with his glasses off, and like, yeah, Guardian of the Year. And in the fine print on that is they're referring to him and all the nameless first responders and people on the front lines as the Guardians of the Year.
I think doctors are great, and honestly, I know from the medical community, people I've talked to, that the reason he said not to wear masks because there was a shortage of masks at the time, or they were worried about medical workers having like proper PPE or whatever.
But he didn't.
But that's not how he framed it. He said mask won't help anything. Had he just been honest, like, hey, look, you should wear a mask if you have them.
Worse than that, he said it will make things worse.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because normal people are too dumb to know how to wear masks, so they're going to be touching their mask all the time and spreading the disease more. That was the fucking rationale. And this guy has like a whole like shit lib like messiah complex. Like people love this guy for no reason. Like the thing that the fawning praise thing that he got he also was listed as Time's 100 most influential people of the year. And the article was written by Jimmy Kimmel, this like dick sucking article about how he doesn't let politicians tell him what to do, and he stands up to Trump and all this shit. It's like he was literally going along with everything Trump was going along with, and in the early days of the virus. So
because people are looking for father figures.
He sucks. He fucking sucks.
He comes off as a father figure.
It's like anyone that says Trump is kind of shitty just automatically becomes a hero to this subset of people.
Except for us. I've said he was shitty. I'm not a hero. I say everyone. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people. Yeah.
I'm saying there's this contingent of people that are like that hero worship the guy for no reason other than they know he kind of doesn't take shit from Trump, I guess.
I mean, that's why they hero worship Cuomo too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they felt like his response to the virus was much better than Trump. So maybe it was. I don't think it was.
It was not.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Trump didn't order people to go into nursing homes and deliberately spread the virus. That's basically what Cuomo did. And Cuomo is doing all kinds of other shit still to this day, failing to raise any taxes on the wealthy that could definitely help fund the state. And what else? Yeah, he didn't close schools right away. Like they all responded too late. That's the number one thing. Cuomo responded just as late as Trump did. So, and also was downplaying how severe the pandemic was. So did de Blasio, the mayor of New York. But, so just seeing all these fuckers get praised right now in the like end of the year wrap up, like magazine times where it's like, who are our heroes? Like it's all these people that fucking threw and continue to throw people into the fucking fire, pandemic wise, and seem to have no shame about it at all. But we're going to hero worship them now. I don't know if I got anything else to say about that one.
No, I just want to mention that the greatest hero of them all is Biden.
Yes,
Person of the year.
Person of the year. Well, it's the Biden-Harris, what did you call it? The fusion dance? When they become one?
Oh, yeah, like when Vegeta and Goku become one through their fusion dance.
Is that what the fusion dance reference is? I don't even know.
Yeah, in Dragon Ball Z, in the Buu saga, it turns out that Z fighters confuse with each other if they do a special dance. And I imagine Biden-Harris also does a special dance.
Well, that's how Time Magazine, they're referring to them collectively as Person of the Year.
And we're going to get Joe Harry.
And in the article about it, I didn't read the whole thing, but it was just very, let's say, factually inaccurate. But it was basically just a long article that said, not Trump. And then told a bunch of sort of exaggerations about how great Biden is, if not just outright lies, saying how much more seriously he takes COVID and so on.
We'll see.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm like, God damn it, I'm so shocked Time Magazine would do this. I'm not at all. Like, I saw it and I was like, of course. But it's still like, the principle of it pisses me off to the point where I want to yell about it for a minute on the podcast. But I don't know. You got any other thoughts on all this Time Magazine honoring these fucking disease spreaders?
Not really.
Yeah.
It just sucks that our only options are people who don't care about people.
But they're not the only options.
It seems
you could definitely find better people, better leaders, for sure.
I think first you have to convince everyone that we're not choosing between the best of two evils. It's going to take a long time to convince people that you can choose someone who's just not evil.
Well, right, but I'm saying I'm not saying it would be likely that a magazine like Time is going to do the right thing and pick the right people, but there are people out there that could be picked in theory. To be praised over Fauci and Cuomo and Biden-Harris.
Yeah, I agree.
People like Hunter Biden and his beautiful artwork. Now we're actually getting a little more topical here. So Hunter Biden is a painter, turns out. And he's getting ready for his first solo art exhibition. And there's not too much to say about this, but what do you think about his paintings, Jason? Any opinions?
They look like peacocks.
So apparently the way his technique is, let me just read it here.
He's into blown ink blots, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. It says he uses a metal straw to blow alcohol ink onto Japanese Yupo paper.
That sounds like a rich kid hobby.
Yeah, he's like in this article, it's like he invited us into his pool house where he does all his painting.
Imagine getting addicted to drugs and not getting harassed by the cops, but instead going to art therapy paid for by your dad, who decided to make sure everyone else gets harassed by the cops.
What a charmed life. Yeah, so this article in page6.com, is that part of the New York Times? What is it? I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
Probably not the New York Times, but yeah, he just kind of goes on about how painting is keeping him sane and it helps him fight his addictions and blah, 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 blah. Boring shit like that. And I think the funniest thing here is the way that these really bitchy art critics have just like torn his work apart. That's kind of the only reason I want to bring this up, honestly. It says here, some other art critics were not so enthusiastic. Jerry Saltz, New York Magazine critic, described Hunter's work as, quote, generic post-zombie formalism illustration. Could be an episode title. He told Art News of his advice to the budding artist: lose the big signature at once, forget the Kusama dots altogether. Experiment with the surface and color and tools. Really consider the whole page as a space and not make everything derivative all over composition. The background doesn't always have to be white, you big baby. I like that, you big baby, at the end. It's very bitchy. I mean, I don't think the paintings are terrible, but I mean, if you look at a bunch of them, like I can only see kind of one in the background. I can't even look at it too closely in this picture, but it kind of looks like just like avant-garde wallpaper or something. But
sure, I mean,
he doesn't deserve to have this fucking exhibition. That's for sure.
I know artists. I do. I think I know some good artists who still haven't gotten their fine art exhibitions in New York. And I think they deserve it more than this guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a lot more. But they're not going to get it. I'm sorry, good artist that I know if you're listening. Anyway.
There's just one or two more quotes about his art I want to read real quick. Art critic Scott Indrizek, former deputy editor of Artsy, had this to say: Hunter's paintings have a kind of vaguely scientific, vaguely psychedelic vibe that reminds me of Fred Tomaselli. If Fred Tomaselli started making art for dermatologists' waiting rooms. But then again, the process here seems more important than the finished product. I guess it's important that wounded men of a certain age and privileged background have the opportunity to find themselves creatively. It's just too bad that everyone else is expected to pay attention. Nice. Slam. You burned.
Is she comparing him to George W. Bush?
He is Scott, but yeah, probably. I don't know. Oh yeah, he is doing art therapy, that Bush motherfucker. You're right.
He's decided to get into doing Bob Ross landscapes or whatever.
I think he does like paintings of like animals and shit. Like he's very childish.
I don't really know what he does.
I thought the only one I can remember is like a dog or something.
I was just going to say that's how he gets over killing and killing and killing.
I bet he doesn't even ever think about like the implications of him being president are. I don't know. Maybe he does. I doubt it. I strongly doubt it.
I think he just thinks about the implications it's had on his wallet and his personal fortunes. Well, probably not.
I mean, he's always been
incredibly
rich. Yeah. He's born rich. He's just, that's the psychology. Okay, I just searched his paintings. There's a painting of Putin he did. Is that him trying to be like a Russia gator or something? Like, yeah, it looks like he just does like these really weak portraits of people. Oh my God, they put out a whole book of his fucking paintings called Portraits of Courage.
Of course they did.
A commander-in-chief's tribute to America's warriors. Oh man. Anyway, I think
buy it for your dad.
There's one more dig at Hunter's paintings I want to read. It doesn't seem. Hang on. ArtNet News' own art critic Ben Davis had a somewhat more favorable response. Oh, this is not a dig then. But let's read it. As digital images, at least, they are pleasing. It's hard to say what they look like without seeing how the actual paper holds the ink. You can't really judge it from your desktop. See, that just seems like him not wanting to say that it sucks. He's like, I can't really judge it without seeing the painting in person. It doesn't seem like there's a style or a theme, just a kind of seeing what pattern the ink suggests kind of thing. It seems like he's trying to occupy his mind, and 3 of the 4 you see kind of read as trying to fill up the empty space and to make some structure out of a mess. So pretty allegorical in terms of where he finds himself. Yeah, that's like a slight, what would you call it? Backhanded compliment in a way. Anyway, moving on from Hunter Biden's paintings, I guess, unless you got anything else to add.
Oh, fuck fine arts.
Just all Hunter Biden has made you swear off the fine arts.
It's almost the same reason that I've almost sworn off lit fiction. I've enjoyed reading lit fic, but I just fucking hate.
There's a lot of bad versions of it for sure.
No, there's just all like fine arts, lit fic. It all just seems to be like dominated, like much of everything else in the world, by
well-to-do
rich people who are allowed to pursue such hobbies. Much like us rich podcasters who are allowed to pursue such hobbies.
I got to go to work in like an hour. How about you?
Yeah, something like that. And I don't make a lot of money.
Nope. Still doing better here in another country than I ever did in the U.S., which is not saying much. What else is going on? All right, let's try to get this at least a slightly uplifting story. Nina Turner announced that she's running for Congress. I love Nina Turner generally. I think she's really good. Especially in light of all the stuff we talked about last time, all of the stuff with the squad and AOC and so on, seeming, in my opinion, seeming like they've all kind of been changed by Washington since they have taken their positions. It makes me like a little bit hesitant to be super enthusiastic about Nina Turner running. Because I thought I had heard somewhere, and it must have just been like rumor mill, that she was going to run as a third party member from the People's Party. Yeah. And she's not. She's just running as a Democrat. But she's still saying all the right stuff. I just listened to an interview with her on Democracy Now! Yesterday, and it was really good. She was basically saying like we need, universal basic income for the duration of the pandemic and so on, and criticizing this new stimulus package and everything, and the old one. But I don't know. I guess I'm just cautiously
optimistic?
I was about to say
Cautiously pessimistic.
That's what I would be more fitting for what I'm feeling, honestly.
I go back and forth. Like
Yeah, I would say I do as well.
Like I'm still even torn on the Squad. I think they're the best thing in Congress. I just wish we could have something better.
Much.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like I'm not in Congress, obviously. I don't know the type of pressures that puts on you and like why they make the decisions they make. How much of it is just for like, I don't know, saving their own skin or making sure they can keep their job, or how much of it is like they really like because of stuff that pressures on them, like maybe they really are making what they consider the best decisions. Seems hard.
It is a little hard to assess the whole thing, honestly, but
though I don't think there's anything wrong with pushing them to do things like I know there's been some backlash on like how angry the left got with AOC, but I get it. We want our politicians that we vote for to actually fight for things, or at least like look like they're fighting for stuff.
At the very least, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got into this last episode. I mean, we totally did. I spent like half the episode talking about it. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I would say, see my opinions about this, listen to the other last episode. But I
think Nina Turner's cool. I would like to see her.
I mean, I want her to win for sure. Yeah. It's not that I'm like, I wonder if it's for the best. Like, it's definitely worth risking her selling out or whatever once she gets the job, because there's a chance she might not. She might actually be the person to shake up the Squad and like actually kind of be more true to what they all give lip service to.
She's running for Senate, right?
Congress.
Oh, okay. Congress.
I mean the House, I should say.
Okay. For some reason, I thought that she was going to. Okay.
I don't think it's Senate. No, it's the House. She's replacing, what's her name? Fudge. Her last name is Fudge.
Okay.
Who's been picked up by the Biden administration. I don't know anything about her except her name is Fudge. Anyway, I was a little disappointed to see that she wasn't actually running with the People's Party. I would be way more enthusiastic if she was doing that, because I think that would send an important message. And she's popular; like tons of people love her.
Yeah,
I think they would support her and back her. She probably would have even more support, honestly, if she ran as a third party. But maybe not, because there's a lot of
people
lib Dems who would say third parties are bad. You know, they're gonna destroy us.
A lot of people think it's entirely impossible for there to be anything other than Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah,
there's no room for RC Cola in this world. I don't know. Sometimes I do think the more people like the Squad or Nina Turner's there, the more people you get that actually do have leftist ideals, the easier it is, I think, for that side of Congress to actually do more. But we'll see. Yeah,
the more the merrier. I agree. Well, yeah, we'll see is all I can really say as well. Like, you know, I'm glad she's running, but I'm cautiously optimistic / sometimes pessimistic.
So I'll just be cautiously cautious.
Yes. Big news in the Mayo Petaverse this week.
Is that something you put on your sandwich?
Insert rim shot sound here. Yeah, he got Secretary of he's most likely going to be appointed to Secretary of Transportation. Hasn't been done yet. I mean, nothing's been done. It has to all be affirmed by the Senate, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's the one that Biden wants for Secretary of Transportation. Something he seems to have zero experience with, anything even remotely related to.
As much experience as Herman Cain had with housing.
Well, it wasn't Herman Cain.
Oh.
It's like the third time we've confused Herman Cain with Ben Carson.
Jesus. I really need to stop doing that.
What was Herman Cain's? Did Herman Cain have a position? I think he just was like friendly with Trump.
I thought he had a position for a bit.
He was like the guy to test out the strain of COVID that Trump had. Sorry to say, Kane stands out there.
Well, now we know what Mayor Pete was promised by Mr. Obama.
Yeah, I mean, they probably just vaguely promised him something, and like it looks like they just kind of gave him like one of the things that was like left over. Or something.
Probably just like, hey, we're going to make you secretary, and he thought, ooh, I'm going to be Secretary of State. That was like Hillary was Secretary of State.
He probably
the next Hillary.
He probably did think that highly of himself, honestly. I don't have much to say about this other than like one of the things I saw was people brought up like an old attack ad that the Biden campaign directed at Mayor Pete back in the campaign days less than a year ago. I don't know. And it was like the gist of the video was like, oh, look at little Mayor Boy compared to all this great shit Biden has done. It was like, well, Mayor Pete was pissing off the people of, what was the city he was mayor of? I can't remember. I don't know, somewhere in Indiana. Or one of the things they pointed out was like, he used like the city funds to put like colorful lights under the bridges as opposed to like using
South Bend.
Yeah, South Bend. As opposed to using the money for something more important, and it like pissed off people. I mean, he definitely pissed off people of South Bend, I know, in a lot of ways. He did a lot of bad shit there, but they weren't even really calling him out on his bad shit. They were just saying, look at how this little inexperienced young guy compared to lifelong politician Joe Biden, who did, held talks with the Chinese leadership, blah, 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 blah. Just all this kind of superficial vice president shit that he did. Which, whatever. Like, people are, of course this shit happens. I mean, God damn it, the fucking vice president, like, is the one who attacked Biden more, like, openly than anybody probably during the campaign.
Yeah.
And now they're together, the joint person of the year.
I guess in 2013, the most popular Buttigieg thing when he was a mayor in South Bend was his Smart Streets program, which was all about improving transportation stuff in South Bend, Indiana. So,
okay.
So maybe he has more experience with this stuff than I thought.
Yeah, but
he has some.
That's like boilerplate mayor shit compared to like, I don't know. It's a big reach. It's almost as big of a reach as like, I have a driver's license. I should be Secretary of Transportation. I don't know. I mean, it's not that I think he's gonna even like fuck up the job. It's just Mayor Pete sucks, and I hate to see him get anything positive. So fuck that guy.
I think it's funny that I don't think it's what he wanted. I don't think he wanted to be Secretary of Transportation. Obviously,
he'll take what he can get, though, man.
But
what other options does he have?
Yeah, no, I just mean I think that he dropped out of the race expecting to get more. Honestly, I think that.
What's funny is that Amy Klobuchar, she's just like vanished. She's gotten nothing. She's received nothing, I should say. I'm an English teacher.
I like she got
someone pointed out on Twitter that it's like, I don't think Amy Klobuchar realizes that when you like a tweet, people can see that you liked it, because it was some tweet that was like making fun of Mayor Pete so bad. And it was like, Amy Klobuchar likes this. It was like a picture of him like looking like a rat and eating some food. And it's basically just calling him like an inexperienced piece of shit. And yeah, I found that a little amusing. Also, that trolley experiment picture that I sent you.
Yeah, I thought that one was funny.
So it's the meme illustration of the trolley experiment, right?
It's problem.
But it's been used a lot in memes, right?
It's a major internet meme.
Okay. I guess I didn't see it until like kind of recently. I'm out of touch. But yeah, it's just that picture, and then a picture of Mayor Pete drawing the road so that like the trolley will run over the 5 people, but then circle back and run over the 1 person. I thought it was pretty funny. Maybe that'll be the episode art today. I don't know, whatever. Shall we move on from
Let's move
Mayo
on.
Pete? Oh yeah, all this shit. So I guess this is just the general discussion of how much various evil business entities and individuals have profited off of the pandemic. We've kind of talked about it a little bit before, like how much Amazon has profited during the pandemic, like as opposed to normal times. And yeah, I found this this is like an academic article, but
The 10 ways to make money during the pandemic article?
the one under that, but no, that one's just like a listicle, basically.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, obviously, right.
It's just
I'm not thinking. But what I was going to say was this academic paper. In the beginning of it, there's pictures. There's some very simple illustrations to look at that sum up some of the problem here.
Business and COVID?
Yeah, the article's called Power, Profits and the Pandemic: From Corporate Extraction for the Few to an Economy That Still Works for All, by oxfam.org. I don't really know this organization, but so like the kind of the broad statistics they point out here are there've been 400 million jobs lost during the pandemic. Yet, 32 of the world's most profitable companies are expected to make $109 billion more in 2020 than previous years. Jeff Bezos could pay each of Amazon's 876,000 employees a $105,000 bonus and still be as wealthy as he was at the onset of the pandemic. Think he's going to do that?
He has not decided to end world hunger today.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he can afford to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It also includes that invested over time, this bonus could result in $450,000 retirement savings for each employee.
That's assuming that...
Oh, those lowly employees don't deserve that much money to retire on. Come on.
In one point in history, people fought for pensions so that they wouldn't have to worry too much about retirement savings because they'd be getting a pension from their massive company.
I almost feel like Americans now would be responding to you like, pension? What is a pension?
I've never heard of that. That sounds like something my grandfather used to talk about.
Right. Okay, this is a statistic about the illusion of charity in a way. So sometimes you'll see these articles every now and then, actually probably all the time, like, oh, but the company is not totally evil. Look, they donated blah 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 million or $1 billion to something or another. But when you dig into the numbers, you get statistics like this. On average, companies' COVID-19 donations amounted to 0.5% of their profits for 2019.
Yeah.
These same 32 super profitable corporations distributed $1.3 trillion to their most wealthy shareholders in the 4 years leading up to the COVID pandemic. In January, they've already paid shareholders $195 billion, or 94% of their profits so far this year. Seems fair. Seems just.
Shareholders are cool.
Shareholders
deserve more,
that
man.
literally sit on boards, as we've talked about before.
Shareholders deserve more.
They sit on chairs. That is their job. A pandemic profits tax could pay for coronavirus testing needs globally, a COVID-19 vaccine for everyone on the planet, support a 21st century frontline public health workforce.
Why would we want all this?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to slightly dig into the obscene profits that, like, no one individual could possibly spend in their lifetime.
The chair holders need money to hold their chairs down.
I'm floating away. Give me some weight. Pour more cash into my bucket.
You don't understand how hard it is for them to hold their boots up so that they don't crush everyone else in the world.
Yep. I don't. I'll never understand.
You weren't born with the ability to pull yourself up by your boots. You know what happens? You pull yourself up so high, and then you just have to keep pulling, because otherwise you'll fall and you'll crash into some poor, unsuspecting people.
It's my misshapen spine that I was born with due to not being rich.
Basically.
Which was my fault. I put that into my genetic makeup before I was born.
In the womb, you have to make a decision. Are you going to be a man, or are you going to be a man?
All right. So, I mean, obviously we can't get into this academic paper.
Sounds like an interesting paper.
Yeah, I'll put a link to it if anyone's interested. What else? So then, read about shit like that, right? So these gigantic companies just raking in record profits and transferring all the wealth up to the top, or 94% of it, whatever. And then you get stories like the next one about, sorry, one second. Wall Street CEO brags about hiking rents during pandemic. Nice. So the story on this, this was in the Daily Poster.
Schwartzman,
David Sirota, and Andrew Perez. GOP megadonor celebrates his profits from, quote, huge increases in rents as millions face eviction. Billionaire Blackstone CEO Steve Schwartzman bragged about his firm's big earnings off high rents, and he boasted that his firm, quote, was a huge winner coming out of the global financial crisis in 2008. Read the room, man. Oh, wait, he is reading the room well, because he said this in front of fellow rich fuckheads. I mean, I don't even know if we need to go. I mean, the headline kind of says all you need to know, right?
I think landlords are good, right?
I mean, this guy is
he's like a mega landlord.
Yeah, he's
he's like
the Megatron of landlords.
Megatron of landlords. Super landlord, Thanos landlord.
Yeah, he's snapping his fingers left and right.
He's snapping his fingers and buying out half of all the landlords in America so that he can be the supreme landlord.
Well, it says here, okay, the world's largest private equity firm has bankrolled campaigns against rent control and been accused by the United Nations of fueling a global housing crisis. That's what this guy is behind, the largest private equity firm.
Awesome.
Oh, look at that. Yes, they've bankrolled politicians that oppose rent control bills and whatnot. What a strange coincidence. Now, as millions are threatened with eviction during the pandemic, Blackstone's top executive is openly bragging that the firm is making huge profits off of rent increases. At the Goldman Sachs Financial Services Conference, blow it up, on December 9th, Blackstone's billionaire CEO Steven Schwartzman boasted that after the 2008 financial crisis, his firm was able to cash in on the mortgage crisis. At the time, he bragged about this. Well, I mean, that's what you do when you're at the Goldman Sachs Financial Services Conference. # blow it up. At the time, the company was able to buy up foreclosed homes and convert them into rental properties, subsequently plagued by accusations of dilapidation and excessive fees, all while it received a big financial boost from the government. Of course they did. They needed that money. We can't get a fucking check. Jesus Christ.
I want to check.
And then, okay, there's a couple of choice quotes from this asshole at this evil villain movie villains conference or whatever he went to. You always have winners and losers. Blackstone was a huge winner coming out of the global financial crisis, and I think something similar is going to happen. To happen, implying, because of coronavirus. Goes on to say, about half of the firm's earnings are from a real estate business. Just to give you some idea of how this breaks, we picked the good neighborhoods, if you will. Real estate has a lot of different sub-asset classes. We've concentrated in logistics. Now he's just getting into fucking robot speak. It's about 36% of all the real estate we own. We're the largest owner of real estate in the private world, and that asset class has boomed with huge increases in rents. Almost no occupancies. Rent collections from almost everyone. God, what a fucking monster. Blackstone recently made billions selling off its single-family residential rental business. But in this last year, the company has been buying new stakes in residential rental properties. And it goes on to say how they gave millions of dollars to political groups to fight rent control initiatives in California, and so on. They've also been evicting people during the pandemic somehow. I thought there was like a...
No, there's not.
Oh, really? Where am I getting that false idea from that there's a ban on evictions?
I think people called for it.
It
never happened.
Then what's everyone talking about this ban being lifted at the end of the year? There must be some measure.
Oh, I thought that was the ban on like student loans accruing interest. Maybe there is a ban.
Well, there's that as well, but I've been made to believe there's been basically a ban on all evictions and people that have, like what's going to happen is come January 1st, unless the Heroes Act, unless the heroes behind the Heroes Act extend this ban.
You're right. I'm just dumb. It's temporary halt on residential evictions to prevent the further spread of COVID-19 order. The order went into effect on September 4th and prohibits residential landlords nationwide from evicting certain tenants.
So it's probably
December
like means
31st, 2020.
Wait, it didn't start until September?
The order protects tenants who have used, if you want to know the memes, have used their best efforts to obtain government assistance for housing, are unable to pay their full rent due to substantial loss of income, which means if you are unemployed, get the kicker here, if you were unemployed before coronavirus, that means you don't meet that requirement, much like you couldn't get unemployment checks if you were already unemployed.
Jesus.
Are making their best efforts to make timely partial payments of rent and would become homeless or have to move into shared living setting if they were evicted. So maybe a lot of people fall into that. In addition to the above requirements, one of the following financial criteria must apply to qualify for protections. This one's fine. Expect to earn no more than $99,000. I'm going to say $100,000 or $198,000 in 2020. Sure, if you make that much money, you probably can pay rent. I hope. Not have been required to report any income to the... In addition to the above requirements, what are the following financial criteria? Okay, only one has to apply. Not have been required to report any income to the IRS in 2019. I wasn't required to do that. I did it just so I could get my stimulus check, which I haven't gotten. Have received an economic impact payment stimulus check pursuant to Section 2201 of the CARES Act.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but this is making your mistaken point actually for you, because I said there's a ban on evictions, and then just looking at what it takes to qualify to not be banned, it basically amounts to almost nothing. In a way, I mean, maybe it's probably helped a good number of people, but like it when you hear there's a ban on evictions, your mind just sort of automatically goes to, oh, it's probably cut and dry, like just no evictions. But then you look into these, you look at the footnote, and it's all this shit, like and those requirements you read in the beginning, the first like 2 or 3, they're so vaguely like worded that like I feel like you could massage the meaning of that into like anything, like giving your best effort to get government assistance. Like what qualifies as a best effort? What the fuck?
Can we do a quiz?
Sure.
So I guess not every state has to follow this order because they also have
also that too.
State eviction protection. So there's a chart here that's going to try to provide the latest information on coronavirus-related tenant protections by state. Let's see. Alabama. Do you think they have a hold on evictions?
No.
Do you think they have a hold on utility shutoffs?
I'll say no.
Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. Alaska.
Are we going to go through all 50 states? Man?
Alaska.
No and no.
Arizona.
No and no.
Arkansas.
No and no.
No and yes.
Okay.
Getting real close. California. That one's easy, right?
No and...
California is yes and yes.
Okay.
It's California, man. Colorado, yes and no. Connecticut, yes and no. Florida, no and no. Georgia, no and no. Idaho, no and no. Let's just go through all the... It's basically all the red states. I just want to point out all the red states, and I hate saying shit like this. Probably the states that need the protections the most. I'm from one of these states. They're basically all no and no. All of them.
Yeah, but yet still, the number I keep hearing, and I haven't really like dug into how factual this is, but I'll say it anyway, something like 19 million families or people, maybe individuals, will be evicted if this evictions ban isn't lifted, despite how many states already aren't following it anyway. But that could mean too, though, that those states just have their own eviction laws, right? No? Yes?
Yes. I'm sorry. 17 states. 17 states in the yes brackets who are actually following the rules on no evictions. Less than half.
The federal laws, because maybe some of them are just have their own worse laws or maybe better laws. Possibly.
Oh no.
Probably
I mean,
not, but
this site, the noio.com,
yeah,
their legal encyclopedia, they list their laws and why they're not following the government mandate, and most of them seem to be worse. Like on the sidebar, they're listing all the...
Oh, it shows the state laws?
Yeah.
Okay, so everything's fucked.
Yeah, that's all.
So even though only 17 states are following this, still 19 million households, or what, I forget if it applies to people or families. In any case, it's a lot of people are set to be evicted on January 1st if this thing isn't extended. Despite how shitty it is, despite how means-tested the federal one is, and despite how they don't require states to follow it, which makes you just ask immediately, well, then what's the point of it being a federal law if states don't have to follow it? You know? I don't know. I mean, I guess that applies to lots of things, like, I don't know, for example, weed being legal. I don't know. I hate all this shit. What else is there to talk about? So yeah, I found this short listicle type article, 10 ways to make money during the pandemic. And it's from entrepreneur.com. And it's just, it depressed me to read it, so now I'm going to summarize it for you listeners. It's this guy, this like smiling douchebag, wrote this article. John Rampton, Entrepreneur Leadership Network VIP, entrepreneur and connector. This is his title. He does begin with feeling your pain, though, in the article. Let's not sugarcoat this. The past few months have been devastating. Even if you haven't personally experienced a tragic loss of a loved one or your businesses, The economy right now still probably impacted your finances. Oh no, not my finances. I mean, anyway, as a consequence, you may be scrambling to find new sources of income. If you're looking for sources of income to hold you over until things pick up, you're in luck. There are plenty of ways to make money during this current pandemic. If you're one of the lucky ones who came out of this unscathed, you could use the extra money to pay down your debt or place a little into an emergency savings account. So this is all coming from a guy who I'm just going to guess is getting like a decent salary from this stupid ass job at entrepreneur.com.
Probably.
And he's going to tell you how to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, you whiny bitch. Number 1, capitalize on businesses boosted by the current climate. So he's basically saying, you know, Amazon and all these fucking insane companies that have like been boosted by the pandemic. Just tap into those.
I like that his first suggestion on this is actually to be a janitor for one of those businesses.
Yes, cleaning services. Be a janitor. Go be a janitor at an Amazon building. That's basically what he's saying. E-learning. Okay.
Be a teacher.
Yeah. That's my main gig, man.
Anyone can do it, Joshua.
Shut up. It's an important profession. I'm a trained specialist.
Make pharmaceuticals. Be a drug dealer.
Yeah, pharmaceuticals and medical devices.
Be a drug dealer.
What is he saying, though, about that? Start a medical supplies business. Oh, okay. Easy, man.
Be a drug dealer.
Are these supposed to be, like, helpful to people that are actually poor? Like, it can't... I mean, no poor people are reading entrepreneur.com.
I've dealt with the medical supplies industry throughout most of my teenage and adult life. I mean, the free market medical supplies industry.
Sure. The free market pharmaceuticals. The black market, I guess you mean.
The only free market.
Yeah. Virtual healthcare. Speaking of health, 2020 has put virtual healthcare front and center. What is virtual healthcare even? Is that like getting a diagnosis over Zoom?
That's like writing articles for WebMD.
Oh, okay.
No, I think it's like actually, doing Zoom checkups. If you're a doctor, you know, if you're a doctor and you're not really busy with the pandemic stuff, and maybe you're a new doctor where like doctors come out with a lot of student debt now, and like sure they have an easier time paying it off than some people because they probably will get a job, but still like almost every other young person, even young doctors right now, end up getting a bit more fucked than say baby boomer doctors because they come out with way more debt and have much higher interest payments and kind of get shifted into like not the highest paying jobs unless they go into specialty fields like plastic surgery, but you know they want to go into something like
and they're the newbies, so they're probably getting like the shittiest rounds or whatever shifts and stuff. Just want
to point out that everyone's fucked. So you take that doctorate you paid the doctorate, you take your medical license and you practice healthcare on Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, but he's not even saying that, it seems. He's saying, like... I think he's saying, like, invest in it or something somehow. This is, like, a nonsensical piece of advice.
Well, this is for people who already pulled their bootstraps off the ground.
And then he says a couple more things here. Logistics, contactless technology, electronic transfers. He's just saying, like, hop on the train of these things. Like, if you're struggling to make ends meet, there's no way you could hop into any of this shit. Then, number 2, sell your stuff, period. Literally puts a period there. And this is like a header. Wow, I love that. So it's just like, brilliant idea, guy. I'm sure no poor people have thought about just like selling off their shit for extra money. And I mean, there's no reason to read what he says here. He's a fucking idiot. Then find a part-time gig. So now we get into the gig economy stuff.
Second job.
Yeah, get another job, you lazy fuck. Offer
third job.
Offer childcare services. That's the third job.
Be a babysitter.
Yeah. And also, in the pandemic, what are you talking about, man?
Be a babysitter.
Have a bunch of kids come over and sit in your house all day. What the fuck are you talking about? Share your skills and expertise. Oh, that's not vague. Are you an in-demand expert? I'm talking about accountants, lawyers, mechanics, or even antique appraisers. If so, you can potentially earn up to $60,000 over at Just Answer.
I feel bad for those people that went and got their JDs and became lawyers. And they're in this boat.
Well, they're probably doing virtual law now.
Not this bad. Not that bad, but you know.
This one, run errands for others. Go grocery shop for people that make a little bit more money than you. That's not dangerous and demeaning at all.
I'm pretty sure
you could deliver pizza, he says, or join a service like DoorDash or Instacart.
I'm like, or do an Uber. I'm pretty sure if I was in the States, I'd probably be doing that.
Yeah, God, I never even thought about what I'd be doing right now if I was there.
I imagine I would still like either be working in a restaurant or I don't know. When I was in the States, I've done a lot of shit in the States. I would be doing something. I wouldn't like, I mean, I doubt I would be a teacher in the state. I don't know.
And if you were a teacher, you'd either be like,
well, in Tennessee, I'd just be going to school and getting coronavirus.
Yeah,
so.
Protesting and not getting paid.
Yeah.
Get paid for your opinions. So now he's saying like,
start a podcast.
Yeah, start a wildly successful podcast. Now he's like, go to those. He's basically saying, go to those fucking rip-off like websites where you take surveys.
Yeah.
He's like, you could make $35 per survey. Like, what the fuck? This guy's getting paid to write this shit.
No. Read the fine print there. He says $3 to $35 per survey.
No, I know.
So
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt.
God, this number 8.
Go ahead.
Redeem rewards points.
I'm going to be frank here. If you aren't cashing in on your credit card rewards, then you're throwing money away. Can you imagine this guy sitting at his fucking desk typing this with a big smile on his face? He's like, I'm so helpful. But how can you redeem those rewards amidst a global pandemic? Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Optimize your recurring expenses.
Can I translate this without reading it?
Yeah.
Cancel your motherfucking Netflix account. This is a pandemic. You have to stay home. But by God,
I think you saw the second sentence.
No, I didn't.
Really?
But I
you
just
nailed it.
I see this on like every like life hacking tip is always like cancel your frivolous things that keep you entertained and happy because there's no reason to be happy if you can't pay rent.
Yeah, this is literally what he's saying. You probably have some, it's headed as optimize your recurring expenses. You probably have some extra time on your hands these days. Instead of twiddling your thumbs or binge watching a TV series, use this to your advantage. In this case, I'm referring to getting your budget back in order. Well, it's not exactly a way to make money. It is a passive income. After all, you can see where you are wasting your hard-earned money. When you do, you can then cancel any subscriptions or memberships that are not currently necessary. Meanwhile, this guy probably works like 5 hours a week typing these dumb fucking... I'm making a lot of judgments about this guy, but I don't know. I don't think I'm too far off.
I mean...
I feel like if he was actually suffering, he wouldn't write shit like this. Like, this is insulting to anybody who's actually having a hard time. And then his last one is just invest wisely. Like, shut the fuck up. People don't have money. God damn it. I mean, I guess, like I said already, he's not talking to people that are actually suffering. He's talking to douches like him that are like, my portfolio's down 5%. What can I do? I don't know. I hate this article so much.
I do say if you're thinking about canceling your entertainment services because you really can't afford it right now, which sucks. There's nothing wrong with internet piracy.
Oh, yeah. Just
download everything.
Torrent everything. Let's see. Should we go into this last bit?
Let's go for it.
So, this is an update on the workers that are striking in India, which we talked about. We did a whole episode on. That was actually not that long ago. I think that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I don't know. Whatever it was.
Forever ago.
Corona time is completely fucked. I can't keep track of anything. But yeah, there's an article update here from Al Jazeera. So, I mean, basically the long and short of it is they're still going. Like they're still pressuring Modi to end these horrible laws that will put farmers out of business in favor of giving contracts to giant agribusinesses. And yeah, I mean they're calling for another general strike, which they did on. Okay, so that was like 3 weeks ago, where they had the 250 million people doing a general strike and a march on the on the Capitol. But now they're still protesting at the Capitol, and they're blocking like highways, so they're blocking people from entering into New Delhi, and yeah, they're calling for more strikes. And it looks like they did a hunger strike, but I read the details on that, and it was like, I don't know, it was kind of weird because the hunger strike, I mean, I guess it's symbolic, but like, it wasn't very long. It was like
1 day, right?
It was for not even 24 hours.
Oh,
it was like from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I just kind of, maybe it's because they're in India and like, you know, Gandhi or whatever famously did like the really long hunger strikes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I also just kind of thought like, I mean, I've done that with intermittent fasting. Like, anyway, that's a really dumb aside about it, because I'm so behind this movement. I think it's great. I'm really glad that they're keeping it up. And I guess that's really all there is to say about it, honestly. Other than here in this article, it says that the number of protesters is only growing. So that's even more positive news, with more and more people, including elderly women, joining them. Although, okay, that's good and also kind of scary news because of how many people have coronavirus in India at the moment. I don't know. I mean, I talked about this on the episode we did. Like, I'm really glad that they're doing the striking stuff, but the like mass protests were, I mean, you know, they're wearing masks and stuff. It looks like in a lot of pictures, although a lot of them they're not. Anyway, that's just the one thing I feel sort of concerned and cautious about is that, I mean, A, I don't want anybody to die from this, but B, like, it's not going to help your movement if all the people in it just start passing coronavirus to each other, you know?
That's true.
So in any case, keep up the good work. Protest movement in India.
Hopefully things get better.
Yeah. We pause for a second and then do recommendations.
Yeah, let's do that. I need to probably do what you need to pause.
Yes. General recommendations. I would like to recommend a movie called PCU, which I was reminded of when Mr. Matt Chrisman on Twitter posted a picture from the film in response to something. I can't remember exactly right now, but it was like kind of a perfect response, and it was just funny that it was something that it was one of those like cliche only 90s kids will remember. If you watched Comedy Central like ceaselessly in your adolescent and teen years or whatever, you probably know PCU like on sight, any frame of the movie. So anyway, just seeing that and like got me thinking about the movie again that I remember liking a lot as a kid, because I would watch it on the reruns on Comedy Central all the time, and so I rewatched it based on that, and it still kind of made me laugh. I mean, I was like, you know, it's very, very dated. It's very, very much a time capsule of 1994. basic premise of the movie is this high school senior goes to this like private college, like kind of liberal arts college, and everybody on the campus is like a ridiculous caricature of like a PC minded liberal. And for younger listeners, PC was used the way we use the word woke nowadays, I guess. So yeah, it's like the hippie vegans protesting, and then like the I don't know, I can't even remember all the subsets. Oh, there was like, they called them the womanists in the movie, not feminists. Anyway, it's just like a dumb, short 90s comedy, and I sort of, I recommend people watch it. Like, and I more recommend, like, if you remember watching it as a kid, going back and watching it would be kind of fun for you, probably, because you're going to definitely view the movie differently than you did when you were a kid. And it felt really short. That's the other thing. I think it is pretty short. Like, it went by so fast. Like, I was watching it with Haewon, and she was like, you can start the movie again. Like, she wasn't in the room. I was like, it's over. She like thought I had paused it. But 79 minutes, so it won't demand much of your time.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
I don't think I have.
I think I'd recommend it to someone who hasn't seen it too, because it's just like, I mean, it's sort of relevant to the current time. Like I said, like PC was just, the 90s word for woke culture, and there's probably even some hashtag problematic shit in the movie, I guess, maybe. Although I'm looking here at the Wikipedia page, and it says that the screenwriters like based the screenplay off of their experiences at Wesleyan University, and they were members of something called the Eclectic Society, which I guess was like a fraternity at like, this kind of well-known liberal arts college. Anyway, that's my recommendation. PCU 1994 American comedy film. How about you?
I have two recommendations. One, I'm going to do a movie that I feel like I haven't recommended on the pod, but it is one of my all-time favorite movies. If you know me, I've probably forced you to watch it. But I'm just thinking of movies I enjoy that, to continue my suggestions of escapism. If you haven't seen Turbo Kid, always a great movie to watch. Maybe Mike Ironside's greatest role.
Maybe.
Probably not, but it's good. I did make Joshua watch it one time after I think we had marathoned a lot of actual bad movies, and or maybe not after marathoning stuff, but I watched it with you.
At some point, you did.
I don't remember why we watched it.
You just said it was a good, bad movie.
Yeah, and we decided to watch it, and I love that movie, and if you haven't seen it, recommend it. If you have seen it, go ahead and watch it again. My other recommendation is, I mentioned pirating. One of my favorite ways to do that is torrenting, which I know torrenting's like not a big recommendation, but I think the best BitTorrent client is BitTorrent for Windows, which I'm going to assume most of our listeners are using Windows. If you're using I say so I can't help you, but BitTorrent actually has a lot of extensive plugins, and I recommend the Jacket plugin, which aggregates basically every torrent site so that you can search for torrents in the client, and it usually finds the best torrents with the most seeders. And I'll have Josh drop a link for that plugin into the show notes, but it makes torrenting a lot easier, but it's a little pain to set up.
And I will download that because on your suggestion, I got this Qbit torrent, and it is good. I second that recommendation, but I didn't know about all these plugins and whatnot.
Yeah, you can do some interesting stuff with the plugins. I can show you at some point.
Cool. Should we get out of here?
Yeah, let's stop.
All right. Bye, people. Oh, wait. No. Jesus, this is happening just like last time.
Oh, wait.
We have a website, heatdeathpod.com. We have a Twitter account at heatdeathpod. You can find all the stuff and the stuffs about the other stuffs.
You can email us. You can tweet at us. You can DM us.
Yes, also we encourage emails and messages to us because we would like to do a mailbag episode someday. And we also, more importantly than that, we want contact with our listeners because we haven't had much of that, to be honest. and it's just a good thing to have. So rant at us, whatever, send us anything. We'll probably read whatever you send, unless it's just straight up Nazi propaganda. We'll probably read it on the show. So there's that. Were you going to add something?
You can shout into the sky loud enough for us to hear.
I meant before I went into
And we'll
the plugs,
shout
you were
back.
about to say something.
No,
Okay.
I don't remember if I was going to.
Okay. All right, and that's our cue to leave.
Okay.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Dogs are everywhere, almost everywhere that I go. They have too much and then they have too much again, and then more. They leave their scent behind them everywhere they go. Oh, dogs are everywhere that I go. Oh, dogs are everywhere, almost everywhere that I go. They have too much and then they have too much again, and then more. They leave their scent behind them everywhere they go. Oh, dogs are everywhere. Yes, dogs are everywhere. Yes, dogs are everywhere that I go. They always wag their tails at all the pretty girls and older women. They find their own way in, then they rip up everything that I believe in. Sometimes I have to wonder about the dog in me. Oh, dogs are everywhere. Yes, dogs are everywhere. Yes, dogs are everywhere that I go. They get down all fours when you walk through the door. They whine and beg around your feet just like a dog for something sweet. They sink their teeth in you, see their
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?